Hello, everyone. Well, it's another Wednesday, and this video will be about George Floyd and also about Kali Yuga. But I just want to start by telling you that yes, it's true. I'm a new species. I'm a new species. I've evolved. I'm a new species. Google, if you're listening, please calm down. I am only joking. Okay? I'm joking. So please don't take my video down just because I cracked a joke. Please have a sense of humor for once in your lives. Or people over at Google. I wonder if liberals even have a sense of humor anymore. They find their jokes funny. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm a new species. I did it. I was pretty desperate to do it. I had to be desperate to do it. But, I finally did it. I got the shot. I got my first shot. There's two shots. I got my first shot. Why did I do it? Because I'm very high risk. I'm a very high risk category. And I do not want in any way, shape, or form to catch COVID. And I estimated the risk in my head and put two and two together and just figured, based upon my risk level, that catching COVID for me would be much more risky to my health and much more risky to my future fertility than it would be, for example, to get the shot. So, however bad the shot may be, catching COVID-19 is like anywhere from 10 to 100 times worse than the shot. So, and it's got to be worse than the shot. But just for full disclosure, I was having a problem before I got the shot. And I got the shot anyway, and then after I got the shot, the problem got worse because I had a problem. I have some sort of infection of some sort. And this infection, it may be a systemic infection. It may be through my whole system. And it's a pretty bad infection. I'm on an antibiotic for it now, but the shot seemed to make it worse. So I had the problem before, so the shot didn't cause it, but it got worse after I had the shot. So if you have any infections, I don't recommend the shot. I wouldn't recommend the shot, but I'm not a doctor. But your doctor would tell you the same thing anyway. He would tell you if you had an active infection not to get the shot. Even though it's getting to the point where it's risky everywhere you go, right? Well, it's going down now. The rate of infection is going down, but there's still a risk. There's still a risk out there. Even though the rate of infection has dropped precipitously, and it's only dropped because people are getting the shot. It's the herd immunity. It's beginning to kick in, but the herd immunity is based upon getting the shot. It's not true herd immunity, which would be for everyone to catch COVID and for eventually just let nature take its course, right? And there's just a little bit of a body count along the way, a few bodies along the way, but that's okay. We can handle it. We can deal with a few bodies. There's always going to be bodies, right? But that body might be you. This is how they point, the public speakers, they point like this. you. So, getting the shot. Getting the shot. Yeah, I got the shot. I really had no choice in the matter. I was sick of living with a mask on my face all the time. I was so sick of the mask. I had to wear a mask um, to protect the people that I love. And um, it wasn't for me. It was for others, so I wouldn't infect them. Okay, I had to wear a mask. And no, it's not true that the mask makes coronavirus worse or that you're more likely to catch it. You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. But you know what I see people do all the time? Constantly. There's this woman on TV. She's an adult woman, right? She's an adult woman. And there's this magician, and he's a doctor. And this doctor magician is entertaining her and doing card tricks with her. She keeps going like this, touching her mask on her face, touching her mask over and over and over. Well, I'll give you a little hint. You're not supposed to touch your mask ever. You're not supposed to touch your mask ever. She was touched it several times. You transfer the virus onto your hands from the mask. Then you eat with your hands that have been unwashed, that you didn't wash your hands. You eat with the same hands and you're meanwhile, you're touching everything else. You're touching doorknobs. You're touching your cell phone. You're touching all the things. The hands that you touch your mask. The mask, all your air in your whole lungs gets filtered through that mask. Okay, all the air from the surrounding air goes through that mask. The mask prevents the coronavirus from going down into your lungs. Okay, but then the mask picks up coronavirus on its surface, if there is any coronavirus. So if there is any coronavirus, it's on the surface of your mask. You do not want to be touching that mask, ever. Touch the ear loops, but you don't touch the mask. And then I was out in public the other day. Somebody went like this. Touched their mask. They were adjusting it. They were pulling it. It was a person at the drugstore was pulling on their mask and adjusting it like this, touching the front of their mask. No, you don't do that, especially a pharmacist. You do not touch your mask. Okay? You can't trust anyone out there. Coronavirus makes you crazy. It makes you so paranoid. But pretty soon my troubles will be over. Because I'll be a robot. Beep, 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 beep. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm not going to be a robot. But the coronavirus will not trouble me any longer because I'll be immune. I'll be immune. Some of the variants, like the double variant from India, they haven't taken care of that yet. The virus has mutated so quickly. Spread so fast, and they haven't created the booster yet. And we're all going to need the booster pretty soon, if we so choose. We still have the choice, which is great. It's great that people aren't being forced to get this vaccine. It was because there was such a public hue and cry. There was such an outcry and such a backlash against being forced to be vaccinated. Now there's certain businesses that are saying, well, if you get vaccinated, you can enter our store without a mask. If you show the card that they give you, that's the proof of your vaccination. And some places are saying, oh, if you get vaccinated, you get a lottery ticket for $1 million. That's all it is a lottery ticket. They just say you get a chance at $1 million, but everybody in the state gets a chance, right? So it's just like giving you a free lottery ticket. Each individual lottery ticket is only worth like maybe $1 in value. But they're bragging, saying, oh, you might get $1 million. You might, but the chances are very slim. So, that's how it works, see? That's how it works. $1 million might not be enough of an incentive for me. Um, I would like the jackpot. I would like at least 30 million. Right? But for a business owner, right, $1 million was like a year's wages. So on to George Floyd. The George Floyd people were mourning George Floyd. They had a candlelight vigil. They came out in droves. There were so many people and such great numbers. And George Floyd's family got to meet the president and the vice president. Like they'd want to, but they did. They did want to. But people came out to honor George Floyd to George Floyd Square. And at 10 a.m., there was a news anchor standing, reporting live from George Floyd Square, and shots rang out. And they claimed there were 30 shots. I only counted about like maybe 18 or 20 shots, but they said it was 30 shots. And one person was wounded. So it may have been a personal vendetta because there was only one person wounded after 30 shots. There's only one person wounded. So it may have been a personal vendetta. Somebody might have been trying to get one of their enemies that they just happened to see in the crowd. So it wasn't a mass shooting situation. It was a personal vendetta. Just happened to be at George Floyd Square in a public place. But the fact of the matter is that the sociopaths, all right, the sociopaths have this huge, it shows the mindset and the mentality of a sociopath, okay? And a sociopath is different from a psychopath. A sociopath is just your common criminal, okay? That's who winds up in most of the prisons is sociopaths. They have this huge sense of entitlement. This huge sense of entitlement. They feel entitled to do anything and everything just because George Floyd was murdered. So see, George Floyd is them. They are George Floyd. They see themselves as George Floyd. They feel like they've been murdered. So it gives them this huge feeling, this huge sense of entitlement. That's why there's been shootings all over the Twin Cities. There's been shootings all over the Twin Cities because, and elsewhere, because certain individuals feel entitlement. They feel justified in shooting anyone and everyone who happens to be a personal enemy because they were wronged. That's how they see it. They were wronged. So this huge sense of entitlement, and the problem with sociopaths is that they do have a conscience and they are capable of feeling guilty, but they only feel guilty when they've been caught. It's true, they only feel guilty when they've been caught, and they have to have their noses rubbed in it to feel guilty. So they're more social creatures. If their friend says that was wrong, you shouldn't have done it, and makes them feel bad about it, then they feel guilty. But if they're just on their own and they're not having their noses rubbed in it every single day and being told they're guilty every single day, they don't feel any guilt. They don't feel any personal guilt. They have no inner compass. So this is the situation with the sociopaths. Opening fire in a crowded area, public area, outdoors, just to get back at someone they have a personal vendetta against and feel totally entitled because George Floyd was murdered, and that means they were personally wronged. That's how they see it. And there's been a huge uptick in murders. It's been a huge uptick in murders. It's been a rash of crimes that were violent crimes. They are going around now shooting little kids in their cars. There's these little kids. Pequeño, there's been 3 kids already. 3 kids murdered or at least shot at. 1 was killed. 2 other in critical condition. people firing into cars. So sociopaths have no shame and no guilt. They don't feel any shame and they don't feel any guilt in killing the child of an enemy to get back at that enemy. They feel totally justified, and the justification was the murder of George Floyd because they've been personally wronged. The system has wronged them, so they can do anything. Anything is justified. Anything. They feel entitled. That it seems like convoluted logic, but that's what's happening. That's what's happening. So it's not everyone. These are very rare individuals. Very rare. It only happens every so often. You hear about it on the news and it just seems like it's right in your face, right? But it's not very many people. It really isn't. The community leaders now are being called upon to police. We're going to have new police. The new police are going to be the community leaders. They have no education in law enforcement. They have no training. They don't know anything about the deductive process that a police officer has to go through. They don't know any of that. And they don't feel inclined to make citizen arrests. They're just being thrown right into the situation with no training and nothing, no backup, and being asked to police and to find this area and to find out who done it, without even knowing how to find out who done it, without any experience. And it's because people hate the police so much that they're doing this. People hate the police. The police chief, Arredondo, he's got such a hard job, and I feel so sorry for the man. He just wants to bring these child killers to justice. So do I. So do I. I want to bring the child killers to justice too. And it's what George Floyd would have wanted. If George Floyd had been alive, he would want the killers of these little kids, who happen to be African American, to be brought to justice. Just a small suggestion. If, and it's just an if we had more police, if we had more cops available, if we hadn't defunded the police, then maybe these child killers could be brought to justice more swiftly, or maybe they won't be brought to justice at all. Just saying. No pressure, nothing. I'm not saying that we have to have cops or anything like that. Just making a small suggestion that if the police hadn't been defunded and if we had more police, then maybe the case would be cracked. Just maybe. Maybe it would be cracked sooner. I don't know. It's just a suggestion. I'm just saying. One thing I've trained myself to do, because I'm on foot a lot, I like to go for jogs and so on. When you're looking around and there's somebody was, I don't know, there's just so many hit and runs now. There's just so many hit and runs all around. People are getting meaner and crueler and more vicious, and they're using their vehicles as weapons. You look, when you're walking around, you keep your eyes open. When I see a car coming toward me, what I automatically do when I see a car coming toward me, even if they're just slowing down so they can turn the corner, when I see a car coming toward me, I automatically look at the license plate. The first thing I do is look at the license plate and memorize the number, the letters and the numbers. I memorize the license plate number automatically. Then if anything goes down, I try to recall that license plate number afterward. And it's only after I've looked at the license plate number and memorized it that I try to make a note of the make and model. But usually by then it's too late. It's better to look for the license plate number first. And because the make and model you can sort of remember in your head. But like a white sedan. That's the typical car nowadays, isn't it? The white sedans. Yeah, you look for a white sedan. But you look at the license plate first and memorize it. Okay, that's how you prevent these hit and run killers from getting away with murder. You memorize their plate. You look at the plate first. And just so you know, hit and run drivers, we're on to you, we're watching you, we're after you. We are looking at your license plates. And you better kill us dead, because we're going to memorize your license plate if we survive, and we're going to tell somebody your license plate number. We're going to memorize it from now on. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. There's going to be people out on the road behind you or around you who are going to look at your license plate number and memorize it and write it down. And you're going to get caught, and you're going to go to prison for the rest of your lives for killing somebody. Just remember that. It's not, you can't pawn it off as an accident if you speed up when you see somebody. There's going to be witnesses, and you're going to get caught, and you're going to go to prison. That's my message to the hit and run drivers. So, in addition to that, there's Kali Yuga. What does Kali Yuga have to do with George Floyd? Well, nothing, really. Nothing, really. I just thought I'd bring up Kali Yuga in the same video, because Kali Yuga really needs to be addressed. There are people now, and I just saw this just the other day. Just the other day. It was out of the blue. Out of the blue. Wasn't looking for it. What came out of nowhere. I looked up Kali Yuga, and immediately there were these, like the first 5 search results said that Kali Yuga was ending in the year 2025. Now in 2025, I know that you are familiar with the number 2025, the year 2025, because I just brought it up in my last video. Just brought it up in my last video. What's the significance of 2025? And now there's people saying, oh, well, the end of Kali Yuga is going to be in 2025. They're saying this right now. Okay? And I just want to address it very briefly. There's people who hope Kali Yuga is ending in 2025. Now, if you click on any of these links where they say Kali Yuga is ending in 2025, you find out when you visit these sites that they say, well, Kali Yuga really isn't ending in 2025. It's just the golden age of Kali Yuga is ending in 2025, and then things will get even worse afterward. And some of them are saying that the golden age is ending in 2025. Others are saying, yeah, Kali Yuga that's the beginning of the end. It won't be the total absolute end of Kali Yuga. It'll just be the beginning of the end, because Kalika will be born. Kalika is a avatar of Vishnu. It's the last avatar. Kalika is I saw the most horrible video. It's the worst thing I have ever seen in my entire life before. It's Kalika soaring through the sky. It was just a still. It was a still picture. They were making it travel across the screen. He had a big sword, and he was riding on a horse, and he was flying through the air. They said that he was going to kill all the kings of the world that were corrupt. And they called them thieves. They said all the kings of the world are thieves. They're all thieves. And because they're thieves, they all deserve to be killed by this Kalika. It was the most horrible thing I'd ever seen. They said that Vishnu would be a great warrior, and he was going to kill all the kings of the world. Can you even imagine somebody going around killing all of our heads of state? Because we don't have kings anymore in control of our world. We don't have kings anymore. We have heads of state. We have presidents. We have elected people. Can you imagine someone going around killing Netanyahu, Biden, Angela Merkel, Boris, whatever his name is. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine something so horrible? Can you imagine something so horrible? Can you imagine someone going around killing heads of state all throughout the whole world? That's supposedly a great warrior. I can't imagine it. And to me, it's a nightmare scenario. It's a nightmare. I don't even care if they're thieves. Maybe they are thieves. That doesn't mean they deserve to die just because they're thieves. Okay? Don't shove your high-minded morality down my throat. Don't. It's just as bad as the Bible, really. Because the Bible says, well, they found I was displeased and they did not find favor in my sight. So I killed them. Kill, 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 kill. I just kill anyone who displeases me, right? And this is supposedly God. You even imagine a God going around killing everyone who didn't find favor in their sight, who displeased them because they didn't live up to their sky-high standards. Can you imagine that? So these heads of state, like Biden, for example, they have karma to work out. They have their own karma. They have karma to work out, and they've got personal karma. They're never going to work out their karma if they die. How are they going to work out their karma if they die? They don't deserve to die. Even if they're making the rest of us miserable, they don't deserve to die for that. Certainly take them out of office, but don't kill them. Don't kill them. So I see this Kali Yuga as rather judgmental and over the top. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too judgmental, and it's too vindictive. It's too vindictive. And I don't see this happening in 2025. I really don't. I don't see Kali Yuga coming and killing all our heads of state in the year 2025. It's barbarous. It's a barbarous concept. And I don't know who came up with this concept or who said. They said that cows would be as small as goats when this happened. I don't see cows being as small as goats. They said the stature would be greatly reduced. If anything, people are getting taller, and they said that the lifespan would be reduced to 20 years. Right now, the lifespan is 70 years. So somebody made a mistake. Somebody's barking up the wrong tree. And they said Kali Yuga would be born in 2025, and then he would begin his reign of terror shortly thereafter. I'm not buying it, because none of the predictions they made for the end of Kali Yuga have come true yet. They're jumping the gun. And why would they do this? Why would they do this? Why would they jump the gun? Why would they jump the gun? It's breaking up again. I don't know why this happens to me, why my video always breaks up. There's a very good reason, but I'm getting to that. I would first like to make a prediction. Yeah, I'm as bad as they are. I'm making a prediction. And I know you hate it, and I know you hate hearing predictions, but just hear me out. I predict that every few years or so, let's say every 3 to 5 years, or maybe even more often, maybe a couple times a year. This is my prediction. Wait for it. There'll be a new claim like this every few years or so. Every few years or so, they're going to pick out a year out of history, any year. And they're going to say about that year, okay, that's the end of the world. That's the end of the world, or the end of a cycle, or an end of an age. And then there's going to be either a nuclear war, or an ascending. Everyone's going to ascend. That's saved. And then things are going to start all over again. I predict there's going to be a prediction like this every few years. And it wasn't a hard prediction for me to make because it's just human nature. So that's it. Kali Yuga. Is it really coming to an end? Is the golden age of Kali Yuga coming to an end? Or is it the beginning of the end in the year 2025? I call BS on this. I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's the end of Kali Yuga. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even believe in Kali Yuga anyway. The whole concept behind Kali Yuga is saying there was once a golden age where people were perfect. People were perfect. They had no sin. They committed no crimes. And everything was just great then. Oh, it was groovy. And that time was even before the earth was created, because it was so far back in history. It was before the earth was created. And, the universe is eternal. It's not ripping apart. There's no great rip. Everything the scientists tell us is false. It's just a cyclical thing, and the Earth is much, much older than they're saying, and that the scientists are saying. It's not 4.5 billion years old. It's actually trillions of years old, and we're right and you're wrong, and and there was once a golden age where everyone was perfect, because they believe in perfection in Hinduism. I reject perfection. But they believe in perfection, and they think there was a time when everyone was perfect. And then there was a new age, and there were a few bad guys, but not everyone. Most people were righteous, but there were a few bad guys. And then there was another age, and there were more bad guys, maybe half the guys. And now in Kali Yuga, everyone's a bad guy. That's what they think. Here to inform you right now that people have always been bad. And they always will be bad, because that's what this earth is about. Now you know. Now you know the big secret. That's what this earth is about. This earth is for fallen ones. That's what the earth is for. It's for fallen souls. So because that's the intent of the earth, and that's the purpose of the earth, that the earth is a place for fallen souls, it always has been, and probably always will be as long as there's an earth. Yeah, we might get blown up eventually. Might blow up the earth eventually. Have no life left. But, that is way in the future as far as I can tell. But, it's a sad subject. It's a really sad subject, thinking of the earth being blown up. I can't even imagine it. It's so hard to fathom. But if life ends on earth, or if the earth gets blown up, right up until the end, people will be bad. There never was a golden age. There never was a golden age where everyone was good. And there never will be. Okay. The whole concept of Kali Yuga and it being the last stage when everyone is bad, that's a false concept. There never was a time when there were perfect people. There was never a time when there were good people. There's always been people who are either a little bit or extremely corrupt here on earth. And the reason is because that's the purpose of the earth, to redeem and go through all of the corrupt spirits, filter through all the corrupt spirits and try to raise them to a higher ground, to make them better people. So it's a process, but that's the purpose of the earth. And if you say there was a golden age where everyone was perfect, what was the point of being even in the flesh if everyone was perfect? Why weren't they in paradise, in the presence of the Creator? Whatever paradise you believe in, whatever Creator you believe in, Why weren't they in paradise in the presence of the Creator if they were perfect people? Why did there even have to be people born in the flesh, and why did there have to be a Kali Yuga? None of that makes sense. None of that makes sense for there to be perfect people on Earth. Doesn't make sense. There was no point to it. So that's it. Yeah, I don't believe in Kali Yuga for that reason, because I know that the purpose of the earth was for imperfect people to come here and be reformed and to be uncorrupted. It's a process. It's not just reforming people and having them vow that they'll be good from now on. It's a process. It's a process of undoing the damage that's been done. And you may say, well, people come here and they become more corrupt. They get corrupted in the presence of others. And that may be true. Maybe people are becoming more corrupt, but they can want to be made good, and they can want to be reformed. If they have that desire, that's all that's required. As long as they go to their Creator and ask to be reformed, and ask to be made good, and ask for their corruption to be taken away. Because you can want to be uncorrupt, even if you're corrupt. You can want to be uncorrupted. You can want to be incorruptible, but you have to want it. You have to want it, and you have to either work at it or ask for it. That's all there is to it. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf, signing off. Let's remember George Floyd. Let's remember George Floyd and pay tribute to him without violence, without killing each other, without shooting each other in the head. Even if you're a sociopath and have a sense of entitlement, I know you totally get what I'm saying. I know you get it. You may not like it, but you get it. And I'll see you next time.